A regular meeting of the City Council held in council chambers on Thursday, May 9th, 2019 at 7:00 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on May 7th, 2019 at 8:36 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Please silence your cell phones. All councilors present. Councilor Dibble presided. Councilor Milo moved to dispense of the reading of the record from the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? President Dibble requested that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilor Fury.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hearings. We have 3 speakers tonight under public testimony. The first will be Jeff Cohen. I'd like to remind everybody, please state your name and address for the record. And you're going to be limited to 1 minute, but I'm not going to cut you off if you're finishing your sentence, etc.
I'll be less than a minute. Jeff Cohen, 12 Hancock Street, Salem. It was very refreshing at the last OLA meeting to see how this body was so into teamwork to make sure that the religious and municipal properties can be converted and permitted in a timely manner. And it was really great to see the council and the mayor talking about how this can be expedited. So it's going to be before you tonight, and I urge the council, through you, Mr. President, to pass this unanimously on the first passage so we can get it done and get those buildings restored and get some really great affordable housing in Salem. Thank you.
Thank you. Tyler Terry.
Tyler Terry, 22 School Street, and I wanted to talk about the resident sticker parking order. Not sure if it's clear, but just wanted to make sure that when the director's looking at options, he's balancing that the resident sticker parking should be to manage parking demand and sort of encourage an optimal utilization, which should also be balanced to make sure that it's equitable and fair.
Thank you. And Gary Gill.
Gary Gill, Ward 3. I just want to compliment everybody on paying attention to the last meeting I was in regards to the overlays. I hope that everybody tonight makes the right decision and moves forward as quick as possible. I went to the other meeting on Traders Way the other night and come to find out the 10% there for the 212 apartments that are going to be there. It's going to be 21 affordable housing there. So if we're on the right track there, let's keep the ball rolling.
Thank you. That concludes our public testimony. Hearings.
We have an order from National Grid and Verizon to install 1 jointly owned pole on Canal Street.
And appearing in favor. Name and address for the record, please.
Sabita Mahaber Sheehy, representing National Grid, 44 River Street, Beverly, Massachusetts. This is to provide an upgraded and separate service for that location and a new ice house going in.
Thank you. I'll open up to any questions from councilors. Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, just to be clear, when this location does not, in this location and the further hearing on the conduit, I just want to make sure I do have the approval from the engineering department, but this does not cut into the new Canal Street. This is just in the sidewalk panel and
Correct.
for the replacement.
Correct.
Okay, no other questions?
Any further questions? Anybody else here tonight to speak in favor of this? Anybody here to speak in opposition? Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the public hearing be closed.
All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move that this be granted.
Second?
Don't need that.
Sorry. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further hearings.
We have an order from National Grid to install 1 conduit on Canal Street.
Speaking in favor.
Sabita Mahabir Sheehy, representing National Grid, 44 River Street, Beverly, Mass. This is for the same ice house project.
Thank you. Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll do that. This is covered by my previous question on it. The initial drawing made it look like there was going to be a conduit run from the just freshly rebuilt Canal Street. We're hoping not to cut into it anytime soon. We were, though, reassured that conduit is going to be under sidewalk panels, which they will be replacing as part of this.
I believe there's one sidewalk panel. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
panels coming out.
Any further questions, councilors? Is there anybody else here to speak in favor of this matter? Anybody in opposition? Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move that the hearing be closed.
All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move this be granted.
All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of Rosa Ordez to serve as an alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to expire on April 11th, 2021.
Council Terrio.
Councilman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Rosa was not able to be here 2 weeks ago, so we could carry this over. She's enormously qualified for this, working at Harbor Light. They are a developer of, also, I believe, the record, because Councilor Bador had to recuse herself, but.
Let the record show.
Yeah. So, anyway, so Ms. Ordaz has works for Harbor Light. They do a lot of work around the region in developing affordable housing. I think having that voice on the ZBA will be a real asset to it. So with that, I would enthusiastically ask for your support.
Any further discussion? Council Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to rise also in support of her appointment. I've gotten to know Rosa very well over the last year, and her energy and enthusiasm and the excitement she brings to volunteering and giving back here in Salem. And especially I've gotten to know her in her role at Harbor Light and in bringing housing here, especially for the very most vulnerable among us, is really admirable. So I also hope that we confirm her.
Thank you for that. Any further discussion? There being none, Council Terrio. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council Torrio?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Peterson?
Yes.
Council Milo?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes.
Council Gerard?
Yes.
Council Fury?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
Council Dibble?
Yes. Ten councilors present, 10 voting in the affirmative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
No.
Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules to allow Ms. Ordaz to address the council.
So moved.
Hi, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm really excited to serve on the board. I've lived in Salem for 2.5 years and have worked at Harbor Light for a couple of months now, and I'm just really, really excited to be a resident of the city, and thank you.
Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Mark Harris to serve on the Design Review Board with a term to expire March 1st, 2020, with the recommendation of the Salem Redevelopment Authority.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to be held under the rules.
Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of the following to the Salem Youth Commission.
Council Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Yes, quickly wanted to thank each one of the youth members that are here for reappointment. They are doing a good job, and we want to thank them for the service, and we're looking forward for reappointment.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council Torrio?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Peterson?
Yes.
Council Milo?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes.
Council Madore?
Yes.
Council Gerard?
Yes.
Council Fury?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
And Council Dibble.
Yes. Eleven councilors present, 11 voting in the affirmative. The matter carries. Communications from the mayor. Sorry, Council Terry.
Steve, Mr. President, we have a number of things under petitions that we have people here in the room for. So I'd like to move that we go out of order to page 24 and
Certainly.
and cover the races that are up here.
Petitions.
We have a request from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater, did you want that one? Or do you want the Witches Cup? Which, did you want me to start from the top?
Which probably, yeah.
Okay. Request from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Salem to hold their annual Bridge and Back 10K road race and use the city streets on August 4th, 2019.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that it be granted, even though it's not my ward.
I don't know. Under discussion.
Where it starts.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to compliment the Boys and Girls Club and Doug Boland for coming up with a unique road race that goes over a unique route and does a wonderful job and raises a lot of money for a great cause. And I know that the Ward 2 Council probably doesn't have any problems with this either, so I move for approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Council Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say that this is a race that I've done a number of times, and the course has some pretty tough spots on it, but it's a really fantastic race, and I think that if anybody likes to do a 10K, this is a great one to do. So hopefully everyone comes out and supports it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, on Council McCarthy's motion that this be granted, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions. We
have a request from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Salem to hold their annual Wild Turkey 5-mile road race and use the city streets on November 28th, 2019.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for this to be granted.
Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'll just say whatever the Ward 1 councilor said. It's a great race, and I fully support it, and I don't see any issue with it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say this is another race that I've done. That is also another fantastic race that gets people out before Thanksgiving, so it gives you some endorphins before you have to go in and, I don't know, deal with family and everything. And so it is a really fantastic time, and the course is really nice. So hopefully everyone will come out for this as well, because again, it supports the Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is one of those races that runs right by my house, and anybody who's ever run the race knows that myself, my entire family, my extended family, we get up early, we've got the grill going, we make sandwiches on the grill, we have noisemakers, we play music, we cheer everyone as they run by, and as soon as the last person runs by, my wife kicks my sons and I out of the house to leave to go to the football game so she can get ready for Thanksgiving. So it's a great event. It's been something that Doug Boland started back when he was with the Park and Rec Department way back in the day, and it's become an annual traditional event, and it's one of those things that if you know it's coming, you plan for it, and it's Thanksgiving morning, and by the time we get out there and start making the noise for all the runners, the neighbors seem to come over and gather with us too, and it turns into a fun event. And I just want to thank Doug and the Tire Boys and Girls Club for all they do. It raises tons of money for a great program, so I'm happy to support it.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? It is a great race. I've run the first two myself, and so I applaud the council for running it every year. I stopped. Maybe I should run more. On Councilman Doris' motion, any further discussion? There being none. On Councilman Doris' motion that it be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have a request from Dan Schuman and Kirk Mott to hold the Witches Cup bike race and use the city streets on July 11th, 2019, and for the sale and consumption of beer and wine on the Salem Common.
Councilman Doris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for this to be granted.
Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I am so glad that the Witches Cup is back to Salem this year. Last year, unfortunately, due to some logistical issues, we weren't able to, the city and the event organizers weren't able to figure out the logistics to have it in time, but this is one of the events that I believe puts Salem on the map. There's people from all over the world that comes to Salem just to either watch or participate in the race. It's always very thrilling to watch, and I believe 2 years ago it was pouring rain and still hundreds of people showed up and raced and watched, and it was just amazing. I do have one quick question. It's kind of administrative. I noticed that a couple of the insurance forms weren't signed. I just want to make sure that that's completed. The insurance forms.
We actually never get the insurance, actually, until the race, because if we don't have money to put on the race or have approved, we don't take the insurance. But we always get it.
All right. I just noticed that the signature was
There's
blank.
actually no insurance there yet either, so. That's just.
Great. And other than that, I believe they moved the time of the event to later in the day to minimize the traffic impacts. So I'm really glad to see that change and fully support it. Thank you.
Councilor Girard.
You just knew, you knew. This is something that I've been volunteering for now, minus last year, so 8 years. I think 8 years I've been volunteering. Yeah. Yeah, and we just have such a fantastic time, and as Councilor Medora said, there are people that come from all over the world, and meeting these elite racers that come to Salem, and it's incredible, and it's incredible to be there and to watch the finale, the final races, and watch the prees and everything when people are just flying around the corners. It's such an incredible event that I hope that a lot of people come out for it and come support it, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll eventually get some, 3, 4, 5 racers? The amateurs.
Any further discussion? There being none, on Council Medora's motion that it be granted, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions. Council Terrio.
Mr. President, I'll move that we go back to our regular order now.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, what page are we on?
7.
Do you want to go?
Communications from the mayor.
Right. We have the following 4 orders submitted from the mayor for appropriations totaling $229,005.86 to fund the retroactive wage changes for the remainder of fiscal year 19 going forward. So order number 1 is that the sum of $213,500 is hereby appropriated from the fund balance reserved for free cash to the Human Resources Retro Wages account to cover the pay increases for the ASME 1818 contract settlement for the remainder of fiscal year 19 in accordance with the recommendation of her honor.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Under discussion?
Yes, thank you. This,
Move for adoption.
and I move for adoption.
And, or move for adoption?
I move for adoption.
Okay.
And now.
Under discussion.
Thank you. This one and the next 3 are related to the union negotiations that just completed, and this is something that comes up every 3 years. What we're doing, I understand, is consistent with what we've done in the past. It was a little bit delayed this time just due to the negotiations and the process there. This is all retroactive back to July 1st, 2017. So it's to cover pay increases for the union contract settlement. So hopefully that's enough information, and I move for adoption.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Flynn.
Do you want to recuse yourself?
Yeah, fire's on this.
Let the record show that Councilor Flynn has recused himself. Any further discussion? There being none, seeing no objection, on the motion by Councilor Peterson for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $13,437.28 is hereby appropriated from the fund balance reserved for appropriation free cash to the accounts listed below to cover the pay increases for ASME 1818.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules, and I move for adoption.
Seeing no objection,
Tim.
under discussion.
Tim.
Yeah, I know.
The next one.
Let the record show that Councilor Flynn is still recused.
Thank you.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you. This is the same thing. It's just broken up. This is showing the different departments that that this particular sum is going toward. Everything from, you can see on the list, assessors to the treasurer's department. And it's, again, related to the union contract settlement.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On the motion by Councilor Peterson for adoption. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor. Terrio.
Well, I'm just gesturing to get to Councilor Flynn that we're no longer covering things that are covered by fire, so.
Let the record show Councilor Flynn is back.
Thank you.
Councilor Peterson, I'm sorry, Madam City Clerk, further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $2,015.36 is hereby appropriated from the retained earnings water sewer fund account to the accounts listed below to cover the pay increases for ASME 1818.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules and I move for adoption.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Peterson.
Thank you. Again, this is very similar. This is specifically related to the water and sewer fund, going to various departments to pay for increases related to the union contract settlement.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, on Councilor Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $53.22 is appropriated from retained earnings solid waste fund account to the accounts listed below to cover the pay increases for ASME 1818.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, very similar. This is really, I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Peterson.
I move for adoption.
Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wrapping up the string of items. This is from the solid waste fund to the solid waste engineering account, and it's again to cover pay increases for union contract settlement.
Any further discussion? I see a small typo in here. I think the written word will govern $53.36 rather than 22 cents, if that matters. So I think we're voting on the 36-cent matter.
22.
Madam City Clerk?
I think it's 22, but
It's 22.
Councilor Peterson.
The previous order was ending in 36 cents. This one's ending in 22 cents.
It's copy paste.
Okay, so the amount is $53.22. Is that correct? Correct. Okay. Any further discussion? There being none. On Councilor Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor.
we have an order that the sum of $60,000 is hereby transferred within the police department budget as listed below in accordance with the mayor.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Peterson.
I move for adoption.
Under discussion.
Thank you. This is a transfer within the police department budget, so there's no impact to the overall budget. But it was due to unexpected increases in gas and electric rates, elevator repair, aging heating system and AC system, keeping the aging cruisers safely operating, and an assessment centers for new hires. And they indicated that they're working with the finance department to better project for the next year. But this is, again, just a transfer within their own.
Any further discussion? There being none. On Councilor Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Sorry. On Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Thank you. All those opposed, ayes have it. Only saw half the hands. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $18,000 is hereby appropriated from fund balance reserved for free cash to the inspectional services accounts listed below.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Peterson.
Thank you. I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you. The information about this is that they just simply had underestimated how much was needed for utilities, and I believe it's due to rate increases.
Any further discussion? There being none. On Councilor Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $15,000 is hereby appropriated from free cash to the mayor's audit and accountant account, and also further order per Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 64, allows us to pay for past fiscal year invoices with this current fiscal year budget.
Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Peterson.
Thank you. I move for adoption by roll call vote with 2/3 needed.
Under discussion?
Thank you. This is related to, as was stated, the mayor's auditing and accounting process, and my understanding is that there had been some confusion. It had been unclear who was responsible to pay for it, and now it's been determined that it is the city, so we need to pay it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none. On Council Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor?
No.
On Council Peterson's motion for adoption, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council Torrio?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Peterson?
Yes.
Council Milo?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes.
Council Madore?
Yes.
Council Gerard?
Yes.
Council Fury?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
And Council Dibble.
Yes. 11 councilors present, 11 voting in the affirmative, the matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order for the sum of $6,649 is hereby appropriated from free cash to the inspectional services account listed below.
Council Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Council Peterson.
I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Yes, this is related to the short-term rentals and specifically the registration and compliance costs, and will be fully supported by the short-term rental fees. This is just to kind of get it started.
Any further discussion? There being none. On Council Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $3,094.61 be approved from the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account for B. Devereaux.
Council Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Council Peterson.
I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Yes, I want to thank B. Devereaux for her extensive service to the city. Anybody who's had the opportunity to go into human resources and had any questions about anything at all, she's usually right there to help, and she's been a great resource. So I, on behalf of the council, wish her well and thank her for her service.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none. On Council Peterson's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the City of Salem hereby accepts Section 9A of Mass General Law, Chapter 200A, which will allow the city treasurer to establish a claims process for the disposition of abandoned and unclaimed funds.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Basically, by adopting this, we are going to allow the treasurer to go through the advertising process. It's approximately $67,000 and change that is on the books that is gone unclaimed, and you have to adopt this provision in order to allow to go through the claims process to find out if you can actually find the person who this is entitled to, the family or whatever. So other than that, this money would just sit there. So we in order to actively go out and engage and try to find the people who are entitled to this money, then we're going to have to go through this process. So I would recommend that we take up with the recommendation of the mayor and take up this order and vote it out tonight.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none. On Councilor's motion for adoption, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll? Thank you.
Council Torrio?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Peterson?
Yes.
Council Milo?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes.
Council Madore?
Yes.
Council Gerard?
Yes.
Council Fury?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
And Council Dibble.
Yes. Eleven councilors present, 11 voting in the affirmative, the matter carries. Further communications from the mayor. Council Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we take a couple of items out of order. First, the resolution on page 20, and then the resolution on page 19, please.
Motions, orders, and resolutions, page 20. Council Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with great honor and pleasure that I wanted to read the resolution to a great friend, a person that everybody know here. Resolution, whereas Rosemary O'Connor will be honored by friends and relatives on the occasion of her 75th birthday on June 1st, 2019. And whereas she was born in Peggy Cove, Nova Scotia on June 1st, 1944, and has been a resident of the Salem community for over 50 years. And whereas she became the wife of John O'Connor, and this marriage was blessed with 2 children. And whereas, in addition to being a wife and a mother, she has been active in the Salem community and civic engagement, including fundraising effort for Salem K-9 unit and chairperson of the Mount Park Neighborhood Association for over 11 years. And whereas, Rosemary is an honorary member of the Loyal Order of the Moose, and whenever there is an occasion held there, you see Rosemary doing whatever needs to be done. And I will let my colleague, Councilor at Large, Tom Fury, to continue.
Councilor Fury.
Mr. President, whereas she puts countless hours of cooking for any event, for neighborhood association meetings, whether hosting a lecturer or another city of Salem department head, are well attended, not just for the event, but for the food that she cooks and serves. I'm an example of that. Whereas during a long, productive lifetime, she has demonstrated in countless ways her dedication to the Salem community, and she has earned the respect and affection of people from all walks of life and all ages. And she has made Salem a better place to live by bringing people together. And whereas she has lived during some of the most eventful times of the country's history and has been a force for good and an inspiring influence on those around her during these years, and there is more of herself in everything she does. And now, therefore, be resolved that we, the Salem City Council, hereby deem it an honor and pleasure to extend this recognition to Rosemary O'Connor on her 75th birthday with sincere congratulations and best wishes for many more happy, productive years. And be it further resolved that this resolution be made a matter of public record of these proceedings, and that a suitable copy, along with the city seal, be presented to Rosemary in celebration of her birthday. Move for adoption, Mr. President.
Under discussion.
Councilor?
Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I think that we cannot really define how grateful we are to have Rosemary O'Connor in our community. She's a lady that embraces everyone as the same, no different at all. I'm a big testimony of that. I've been knowing Rosemary for many years. And every time I see Rosemary, she embraces me with a very, very smile, very friendly. And I think that we all together as a city are very fortunate to have her, and we wish her the best and many, 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 many more years to come in her life. Thank you.
I'm looking at the teamwork between these 2 at-large councils. Nice tribute. Councilor Fury. Look at this team back and forth. Councilor Fury.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. There are angels among us, sincerely, and Rosemary is an angel for Ward 6, an angel for the whole city of Salem. And whatever she does, she brings a magic touch of love and passion and service to the city of Salem that she loves. And I'm here tonight to demonstrate this. Sweater, K-9 dogs, Salem Police Force. She's the angel of the Salem Police Department, real angel of the Salem Police Department. And I wear this with pride. And on the back is a nice emblem of the dogs. And these dogs go in harm's way, where police officers cannot go. They protect their lives, and they're part of the family. They live with the police officers. And they're very, very expensive for training, for housing, for the equipment, for protection. But they go in harm's way. Well, you hear about the drug situation, fentanyl, and all the things that are going on these days. Dogs go right into the harm's way, right into the eye of the hurricane of what's going on. So Rosemary has been the force to keep these dogs going in the Salem Police Force. And this is mandatory. Other cities and towns follow these dogs because they're so valuable. And they're part of the family. It's really beautiful that these police officers take them into their homes. They're part of their family. I see some children in the audience tonight. They're really part of the family, of their family. They love these dogs so much. So Rosemary has been there from the very, very beginning. And year after year, she's there. And I also have a distinct pleasure, Mr. President and fellow members. I work with her son, John O'Connor, at the PBD Essex Museum. No plug to the PBD Essex Museum. He's the head of security there, where I work as a security guard. Thank God I don't have a taser. Well, again, I'd be dangerous. But he is really a dynamite guy. And if John has the same DNA that Rosemary has. He's an angel for us. He's a real good angel to the PBS Museum, helping out fellow workers in many, many ways. He's there. So Rosemary can be very proud of us, her family, and be serving the city of Salem. And the Salem Moose wouldn't be the same without a Ward 6 Association. It's one of the best associations in the city of Salem, sincerely. They serve the food as an incentive to bring us together, and nice time to bring police chief, the fire department, the mayor, city councilors, and she also does a debate, the Ward 6 Association, every 2 years for the councilors at large. So she is an epitome of the Salem city to be a citizen first class. Rosemary, if you're watching, thank you for being an angel. Your son is an angel too, and your family. Thank you very much. Council, thank you very much.
Good job, thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm so glad that this resolution got brought in by the two council at large. Rosemary does so much for this city, as Council Fiore said. We would never have a K-9 unit in Salem without her. And I've actually seen the police officers with their dogs, and it's a beautiful bond between them. They live with their families, and they do so much. They protect the officers, they protect other cities on the North Shore, and without what she's done, besides being a wonderful person and a personal friend of mine, can't thank her enough. She's the best of Salem, and I wish her the best.
Agreed. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, Salem is so many times said to be a city that's rich in history, and of course it is, but our true wealth is our people and their willingness to pitch in, help each other out, and just serve Salem without much fanfare. These people aren't looking for much attention, they're just doing what they do. And at our neighborhood meeting, it was asked why we didn't have a K-9 unit. And so Rosemary stepped forward and raised enough money to have one K-9 dog. And she raised enough money to get and keep 3 K-9 dogs. So that's the kind of people we have in the city, and Rosemary epitomizes that kind of person. And we appreciate her and so many people like her very much. Thank you.
Great. Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's probably something about Rosemary that you all don't know, and that is that a few years ago she was recognized, nominated by Representative Tucker, and recognized at the State House for being at one of Massachusetts' unsung heroines. And what that is basically, as folks have said here this evening, it epitomizes Rosemary. The tagline for the organization is, they don't make the news, they make the difference. And I think that's exactly what Rosemary does, what she's done, and I expect that she'll continue to do. And I'm thankful that we have her here in Salem.
Thank you. Any further discussion? What a wonderful testimony for a beautiful lady. On the motion, the joint motion by Council Dominguez and Council Fiore, motion for adoption. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Further motion, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Madore.
No. Peterson.
We're going backwards.
Yeah.
Page 19, are we? Council Peterson.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. City of Salem in City Council, May 9th, 2019. Resolution. Whereas on December 11th, 2018, Betsy Peterson Sargent, after dedicating her professional life to the children and the community of Salem until her retirement 4 months before her death, passed away at age 79 after a brave battle with cancer. And whereas Betsy was a brilliant, dedicated, and life-changing educator over her 55 years of teaching, first as a principal and the gifted education director in the Salem Public Schools, and then by co-founding the Phoenix School more than 35 years ago. And whereas she was an adventurer and an innovator, serving as an inspiration and role model to her students, their families, and our entire community, Betsy lived by and passed on these mantras to all. Never stop trying new things and explore outside the box. Don't be fearful of failing and trying again. Ask for help when needed, and always give back to one's local, national, and global communities. She contributed to the Salem community herself as a member of the Rotary Club of Salem, Salem Partnership, Salem YMCA Board of Directors, and North Shore Medical Center's Patient Family Advisory Council. She established a community service club run by Phoenix students. Her dedicated support of conservation efforts for elephants and rhinos, in addition to her commitment to rescuing senior golden retrievers, were hallmarks of Betsy's philanthropic priorities. And whereas Betsy was a visionary ahead of her time, crafting a teaching methodology that reflected the core tenets she taught the hundreds of students who were so fortunate to benefit from her mentorship, that the world was her classroom. In her case, the world meant the streets, museums, and parks of Salem, and stretched as well from Italy to the Everglades of Florida, to the caves of Indiana, to St. John and the U.S. Virgin Islands, and around the globe. Using creativity, imagination, technology, and travel, she threw the gates of the world open to hundreds of students who so often were struggling in more traditional academic settings, giving hope and a path to the future. And whereas Betsy often said that her last and greatest adventure would take her to the stars, where she will continue to shine down on all of us. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Salem recognizes and honors Betsy Sargent's life of service to her students and our community. And be it therefore further resolved that this resolution be made a matter of record of these proceedings, and that a suitable copy along with the city seal be presented to her loved ones in her memory and with gratitude from the City of Salem in recognition of her remarkable service to our community. And I move for adoption.
Thank you. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow, well, I'll start by saying we have a number of her students and peers and in the council chambers tonight. And we're going to be recognizing her tomorrow at her memorial service in celebration of her life. So I thought it would be a nice gesture to bring this in tonight and recognize the really extensive service that she's quietly, really, kind of with her head down, given to the Salem community and made such a difference, I think, in many cases, saving lives of students that were not thriving in other types of settings. So I want to thank everybody for indulging me in bringing this in, and thank you. I hope we move for adoption.
Any further discussion? Councilor Dominguez?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the great honor to meet Betsy back on the days I used to be part of the board of directors from Salem YMCA. What a great lady. And on behalf of the Latino community, I wanted to say thank you, because not only she was helping a community that represent the majority of the group, but the Latino community during those days was very small, and she stepped up on many, many occasions, try to help the most needed one. And as a part of the Latino community, I feel that we need to say thank you to her, to what she did in the past. So just wanted to say that simple word on her behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fury.
Yes, please, Mr. President. As a teacher for 40 years, elementary school, she was a role model for all of us, a real, living role model, a profile in college. Krista McCullough, later astronaut who passed away, Concord, New Hampshire, first woman astronaut in space who passed away, said a teacher affects eternity. And you look at the young people today in the audience, she has affected so many lives in her love and passion for the city of Salem. I served on the school committee for 12 years. She was a brilliant role model, shining star for the Salem school system, principal, teacher. Then she went on for another life to found a school called the Phoenix School. What a great name for any school, Phoenix, to rise up, new life, new resurgence. And she was that epitome with her husband and wife, to make that school a shining star for all of us in Salem. Anyone who went there was lucky. She was a role model. And I'm looking forward to being there. Thank you for this great honor. And if I may, Councilor Peterson, I think it would be nice to invite some of the children and parents up to show our love for Mrs. Sargent. What a role model. Please.
Any further discussion? Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, yes, I was going to ask if it would be appropriate to suspend the rules to invite her co-founder, Barbara McFall, and the chair of the board of the Phoenix School to come up and say a few words, and then perhaps for all of us to take a photo with the students and the loved ones that are here in her memory.
Okay, so we're talking about a motion for a, can I see a motion for a 2-minute recess?
No, suspension of the rules.
Suspension of the rules first? Thank you.
Did we vote on it?
Thank you. Motion to suspend the rules. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Folks?
Good evening. My name is Michael Sheffield. I live at 6 Carpenter Street in Salem, and I have the privilege of being the president of the board of the Phoenix School. And I thank Councilor Peterson, and I thank the City Council for this honor that they have bestowed upon Betsy, for your kind comments and remarks. I'll be brief. Betsy Sargent is a word that's used all too often, but in this case, absolutely correct. She was a great person. She really was. She was a great person. She lived a great life. She built a great school, but this person standing next to me and with others who are carrying it forward. And I wish you could have seen her at her last board meeting, which was shortly before her death. This individual in her late 70s, thinking hard about new ways to learn, new ways to educate, new technologies. This was not somebody who stopped learning years ago. She grew, and she grew as the technology grew, and she leaves a legacy behind of hundreds and hundreds of students who learned, yes, I can, and have indeed proceeded to do, yes, I can. Thank you very much on behalf of the Phoenix School community for this honor for Betsy Sargent.
Counselors, forgive my emotion, but I want to thank you all for honoring Betsy because she is an incredible woman. And you all know that by Lisa's remarks and by obviously knowing her and by Michael's remarks. So I just wanted to take a second to tell you how much Salem meant to her. Betsy and I came before the City Council in 1981 as we began our school and for various different events in the city. And she lived in Salem a few years before we started the Phoenix School, but she fell in love with Salem. She fell in love with the people, she fell in love with the history, and she wanted to do good for Salem, and she did. And everything she thought about went back to community service. She joined the Rotarians, or was invited to join the Rotarians, and we worked with LifeBridge, we worked with raising money for the Friendship, we worked to raise money for the food pantries, anything she could do to help Salem because she loves Salem. So thank you for honoring her, and know that Salem made a huge difference in her life.
Thank you. A motion for a 2-minute.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Failed to act on the last matter. On Council Peterson's motion for adoption to recognize Betsy Sargent. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. What's the will of the body? Where do we go to next? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe we want to go back to page 13, but I think as a matter of order, we should go to committee reports and take up the committee report prior to taking up the order relative to the zoning.
Your motion is to go to community reports. Finish up motions and orders and resolutions. Just a couple small
I'll leave it to your will, whatever you want to do, Mr. President.
Let's go to page 21, motions, orders, and resolutions to finish that entire chapter.
Sounds great.
Motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Page 21.
Yep. Just looking for, okay. City of Salem City Council on May 9th, 2019 ordered that the Traffic and Parking Commission, yes, and Director review Chapter 42, Section 75, Traffic, Parking Prohibitions, Towing Zone, Resident Sticker, and prepare a set of recommendations to the City Council to revise the Resident Sticker Parking Program for a fairer and a more equitable system for all Salem residents. And I move for adoption.
Under discussion.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I truly believe that our resident sticker parking program is broken. I have received several calls from my constituents asking me, I'm a Salem taxpayer, I'm a resident, why can I not park in a resident sticker parking zone? And I have to do the very difficult job to explain to them that they do not live at an address that is on a street where it is resident sticker parking only. And they get very upset, and I continue to explain that unfortunately our sticker parking program is, the eligibility is based on a street level and not a district level, and it's not fair, it's not equitable. You buy a property not knowing whether you can pay or not as a resident, even though you pay for your taxes for the services and the infrastructure. So I think we need to revisit this program to make sure that everyone who lives here and pays taxes here is offered this type of service, whether they want it or not. In addition, our visitor, tied to the resident sticker parking program, the visitor parking pass is being abused at a level where it is currently used as a resident parking permit. And there's just several areas in this parking program that really needs to be revised, because there are residents, and I'm sure the Ward 1 councilor will agree, there are residents who are the tweeners, the in-betweeners, who live between zones, but at an address that does not make them qualify, and even though they're right there in the zone, they don't qualify. And I have several of those constituents too. And what else did I want to complain about? I just don't think that the system as it stands is fair, and we have the technology, we have a panel of experts who can study this issue, and I believe the study has already been conducted and wrapping up. So I'm looking forward to what kind of recommendations we can review to hopefully make the system more fair to taxpayers, especially in my ward. And in Ward 1, there's several zones that they're just in both our wards, and I think this will help with a lot of the issues with parking. Thank you.
Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree very strongly with the sentiments of the Ward 2 councilor, and I think she was probably underestimating it when she described how broken the system is. I would, I think, arguably use the term dumpster fire to describe our resident parking sticker system. It's had problems, systemic problems for years. The visitor pass system is messed up. The way we have temporary zones is messed up. And the way we designate streets has been messed up forever. And we do it reflexively, and we do it in response to immediate issues. And when we do it that way, it's really like squeezing a tube of toothpaste. You can't put the toothpaste back in. And we really need to do better than that. Now, we've had proposal before this council, I think 3 times now, to revise things so that we can eventually turn our parking regulations from ordinances into regulations to give the Traffic and Parking Commission more power to be able to revise these. And there have been a few different approaches taken, but none have made it through thus far. But at the very least, we need to take a good whack at the resident conundrum, because we have this problem where streets get added, nothing ever gets removed, and they only get added. And by doing it piecemeal the way we've been doing it, we wind up with these pinch points between streets. We wind up with addresses that are, an address that's not quite on the list, but so people find a way to cope somehow or another. We don't have any real good provisions for visitor parking in neighborhoods. And so this is something that's long overdue. We do have a traffic and parking director, and that's the kind of thing that we brought him in here to try and address. He has a commission of people who have knowledge of the local, of local streets and traffic, and that's giving them a chance to really hopefully take this and come up with a better system that's just far more equitable for residents and taxpayers is just an obvious step to go.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wouldn't refer to it quite that way, but it's a system that started, we don't have to revisit the whole thing. It's broken at best. It works to some degree. There are some safeguards, but what we all have to get over is the fact that it has to be more of a zone approach as opposed to a ward approach. Because right now, all the zones are based on ward. And Council Medora and I share Essex Street, and it just doesn't, the fact that they're in one zone and we're in another zone, and it just doesn't, it needs to be more of someone, and this is why I think it belongs in the hands of the Traffic and Parking Commission, is it has to be more of a broad-based approach that's going to evaluate the whole system regionally as opposed to by wards, because this came up a few years ago. The then Ward 2 councilor proposed something, or was going to propose something, and I basically came out of the meeting and said, well, if you're going to propose this, then my response is going to be X. And they're like, why? And then I ran through the list of reasons why, because the way the two areas don't mesh together would just be, it would affect it. So this, I think, is going to be, we could sit here all night and talk about it. I want to thank the Ward 2 Council for bringing it in, but there are some aspects of the program that need to be looked at. And when we talk about the tweeners, there are major, Essex Street and Derby Street in particular, that are major throughways through our neighborhoods and have businesses on those streets, so therefore they're not restricted parking-wise, but at the same time, if you don't live on a corner that the side street's restricted, then you're not eligible for a pass, so then you can only park on one of those streets and you can't park on a side street, which doesn't make any sense, but I didn't make the rules, someone else did, when we were trying to fix the rules, and we tried to work with, Matt Smith a few years ago, and then Matt decided to leave and take another job, and now David's doing an admirable job trying to pick up the pace on this one, and it's just that we need to get some relief to some people and have a better understanding that if you live in a zone, you should be able to park in the zone, irregardless of whether or not the street is restricted or not. And how we do that, what are the best rules to do that, we're gonna leave it up to them, make some recommendations, because I can't speak for anyone else's ward, but I'll speak for mine. When we talk about the Derby Street neighborhood, that came out of the meeting, there was between 300 to 400 parking spaces available when you looked at on-street parking, and there was like 800 passes and guest passes if you added them all up. So obviously, it's not all gonna work that way. So there's something that has to be looked at. We're giving out more passes and more guest passes than there are actual spots on the street. So it's something we have to look at. And I will say that the one thing that we've had, the conversations I've had with David and with Matt prior, the technology is probably gonna be the biggest help to this situation, is the fact that we can do so many more things with technology that's going to help the situation. So I look forward to this coming through.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On Council Medora's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Medora.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, May 9, 2019, ordered that the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss amending a traffic ordinance, Chapter 42, Section 58, handicap zones by deleting zones to be established by the City Council as needed to provide parking for the handicapped persons, and replacing with zones to be established by the Traffic and Parking Commission as needed to provide parking for handicapped persons. And I move for adoption.
Any discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This issue has come up again and again as well. The fact that it needs 2 passages through council for a handicap parking zone or sign to go up, I think that makes very little sense. given the fact that I've had two constituents, when they requested the sign to be put up near their homes, in between that request and the sign actually going up, they have already passed away because they needed the sign. And also residents who are going through a medical condition, they need it, and maybe by the time it goes up, they are no longer suffering from that condition. So we can make this more efficient, and I think this is a no-brainer to allow the Traffic and Commission to review these requests. They already do, but the added step is to have that request go before the City Council. It takes almost 2 or 3 months to review, talk about it, and pass. So I think this is one way administratively we can hand off to the Commission to make it more efficient and give them a little bit more power, specifically in this ordinance, so that everyone in our community benefits, and rather than be bogged down by process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I couldn't agree more, especially with regard to handicap parking. That's one of those things that this body takes care of, and I respect that. But when it comes to handicap, I mean, if you want to get 100%, if you want to use an example, if someone called one of us tomorrow and said, you know, I have a medical issue, you know, I've got a handicap, what would happen? So we'd have to reach out to Lieutenant Tucker. So Lieutenant Tucker, if he may, by the time we reach out to him, it could be early next week. And by the time he goes out and does a site visit, gets all the contact information and puts together the order, we might not get it until after our next meeting, which is a week and a half from, 2 weeks from now. And then by the time it hits the agenda, then it takes 2 passages. That's almost, and if they're lucky, it doesn't happen during the summer break, because if it happens during the summer break, it doesn't happen until September. So the fact that, you know, as Councilor Medora alluded to, some of these are medical related. Someone may have a hip replaced, knee replaced. They need a temporary. This is what in order to help people, this is going to streamline the process, because the only thing that really happens is if the request comes into me, the first person I refer to is Lieutenant Tucker, because he has to do all the background, make sure they have a valid, you know, handicap placard. He goes out, looks at the street, see how many handicap spots. He goes through that whole process. So it's just, we're still in the loop. We're going to pass it off, but it doesn't come back to this body. We let them deal with it. Let Lieutenant Tucker deal with it. It makes it more streamlined. Gets the signs up faster, and give the relief to those residents that actually need it. And then also on the tail end of it, when someone doesn't need it anymore, they can repeal it quicker than we can. Because when we go to repeal one of these things, it takes months to repeal it as well. So I can't agree more. This is one of those things when we look at the big package that came in a couple of years ago with regards to, this is a little part of it, and I think this one makes sense.
Any further discussion? There being none. On Councilor Medora's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, folks, where to now?
Let's keep going, committee reports.
22.
Then we'll jump back.
What page?
22.
22. Thank you. Page 22, committee reports. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, May 9th, 2019. The Committee on Ordinances, Licensed Legal Affairs, Co-President Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of reviewing zoning ordinance 3.0, non-conforming uses, has considered said matter and recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On the acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. On the adoption of the recommendation, Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. As was alluded to earlier by some people of the public, we had a meeting this past week relative to an order that the good council president brought in relative to amending the language in section 3.0. And what came out of that meeting was the fact that we were going to leave this matter in committee if what is going to come up next wasn't prepared to be in front of us, so that we can actually then have a subsequent meeting. But what came out of that meeting was we met with Tom Daniels and the mayor, and we had a lively discussion relative to what was on the table prior, what the proposal was that you brought in front of us, and what came out of that meeting was the fact that you you, Mr. President, as others felt that the need was to, I don't want to revisit the overlay district, but rather than do an overlay district, the idea was to amend the use table. So what's going to come up next, what's going to come up after this with regards is what the committee asked the mayor and Tom Daniels, specifically Tom Daniels, to work with the city solicitor to come up with some language that reflected the intentions of what, when you brought in the change, what your idea was the change was. So let's be specific with regards to how we got to this point and what's going to come next. What came out of the committee meeting was leave it in committee, remand to the city planner to come up with some language that reflected those wishes of what was being talked about in the committee, because that was what the order that you brought in was talking about. So to Tom Daniels' credit, he was able to put together what's going to come in front of us next, and then we'll refer that to a joint public hearing. So, but for right now, the committee report was basically, we took your suggestion relative to the change in 3.0, looked at that, determined that that was going to be too broad of a scope at the time without some of these conditions that we were talking about in the use table, and therefore what's going to come up next came out of those discussions. So the motion is to remain in committee.
On the motion by Councilor McCarthy, that the matter remain in committee. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further committee reports. Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, May 9th, 2019, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of establishing a percent for art ordinance requiring a percentage of our annual capital improvement budget be devoted to funding for public artworks and cultural programming in the City of Salem, has considered said matter and would recommend matter remain in committee.
On the acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. On the adoption of the recommendation, under discussion, Councilor Peterson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We had a wonderful meeting about a week ago, thanks to Councilor Madore bringing this order in. And we had members from from various parts of our arts community in Salem come and present on the importance of it. We had a kind of technical discussion, the beginnings of one about how this could work, and we decided to leave it in committee, and Councilor Madore has volunteered to do a little bit of research and homework following up on some of the ideas that came up in the committee, and then we're going to reconvene and review those and see about moving forward. So for now, we're going to leave it in.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Fury.
Please, Mr. President, I truly appreciate this, and I applaud Councilor Madore. Art, music, gym, performing arts have no vote, whether it's in the schools or in the city of Salem. No vote. We must be their voice, must be their vision. And art is so important. I share with you, my own library career was killed in a vote, knock-off library. Gym, music. As we approach the school committee budget coming up in the budget hearings, music, gym has been cut, if you look very carefully. They don't have a voice or vote, but they're such a valuable part of the school system in the city of Salem. Some of the ideas that were shown that night in a PowerPoint presentation, lighting up garages, painting of streets, painting of boulders, making it a really lively city. Not just a city of witches, but a city of art and appreciation. And a civilization that appreciates art, appreciates history, appreciates life. And I applaud Councilor Madore, and I hope we don't compromise in this situation. It really does need a stream, some type of stream of revenue. So many people are calling for funds for this, funds for that, for the arts. And they're all coming for the same fund. And they can't get, there's no money there. But if we guarantee as a city, we show ourselves as a city, that we have a stream of revenue, maybe not gold for everybody, but man, if we have for many. I think it would be valuable to keep a stream, some type of stream, whether it's the capital outlay budget, as you indicated, but sincerely, you're going to be giving a gift for generations to come. Art is so critical. Some of the ideas that were on that slideshow was amazing, that the city of Salem could come into the 21st century. Cambridge is doing it, other cities and towns. Some people say, oh, we don't want our taxes increased. No one wants their taxes increased. that the performing arts, the arts, make our city a better city to live, breathe, work, go to school in. And I applaud Councilor Maduro for doing this, and I hope it has a long future of a stream of guaranteed revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On Councilor Peterson's motion that it be left in committee, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Communications from city officials, none.
Move that we return to the regular order. Page 13, please.
13, thank you. Communications from the mayor.
We have an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance by adding municipal and religious reuse as a use permitted in all zoning districts upon the issuance of a special permit by the planning board, subject to the requirements of new section 6.11 of the zoning ordinance, and it continues to the page 17. Perfect.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the planning board to hold a joint public hearing.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. As I stated during the committee report, this matter that's in front of us is the result of the order that you brought in relative to amending the language in 3.0. And after our discussions in the meeting, we charged the city planner with coming up with a way to achieve what your desires and wishes were relative to the repurposing of some of these buildings. Specifically, I'm not going to get into specifics, that's for the public hearing to get into. I'm just going to say that we're going to try it again, I guess, with a different way of approaching it. Rather than an overlay district, we're going to look at amending the use table specifically with regard to the fact that the way our zoning rules are written, the city solicitor sent me a legal opinion relative to the fact that because the way our use tables are currently written, that municipal and religious uses are allowed. It means they're not an exempt use, they're actually an allowed use in any district. Therefore, that you can't go from one conforming use to another, which would be allowed by by appeal to the zoning board, because both municipal and religious uses are allowed. So therefore, there is no pathway to redevelop any of these buildings because their underlying zoning is something other that wouldn't allow for them to be converted into housing. So this is, I'll leave it to the city clerk to work it out with the chair of the planning board to come up with a time that works for both boards, and so we can have a joint public hearing with regard to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Fury.
Councilor Dibble, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with the Ward 1 councilor's comments in the desire to move this along. We did receive an opinion from the city solicitor as we requested through Councilor McCarthy's committee meeting, OLA meeting. So we have that recommendation. I believe the at-large councilor across the way requested information as well. He did request information, and the mayor promised to deliver that information to the council. I have not seen that yet. So we're still looking forward to that information from the mayor. The question I have, and I'm not sure how to address this, so let's have a discussion about this really fast, is that the last time we adjusted and amended the table on a different matter, we couldn't make changes to the table because that was the way it was advertised. Okay, for adding the NRCC was the one before that. We had a problem with the table then as well. So if we move this, in my opinion, if we move this forward tonight for a joint scheduling of a joint public hearing, this is what's going to be advertised. And you can't make changes to it, to the table itself, because in fairness to somebody who might have an interest in B1, they see that it's no. But if we wanted to change it to yes, or to a planning board recommendation, you couldn't do that. We'd have to re-advertise it. So that's a determination of the city solicitor the last time they were looking at table changes or possible changes to that. So I'm not sure how to deal with that. I would like to see this, as I said at the committee meeting, I wanted it to come into the committee so we can make changes to it, so we're within the four corners of advertising and we're meeting the legal requirements. Otherwise, we might bounce back to square one all over again. I don't want to see that happen. So in a timely, fast fashion, and I'll leave it up to the board how we resolve this. You can't make changes to this legally, as the city solicitor has stated the last 2 times we had zoning meetings on this. So I'm not sure how to deal with it, but if it were sent back to the committee, we could make changes to this. This is the first time that we're seeing this. It was not presented at the OLA committee meeting. We have it here before us for the first time tonight. I think it behooves us to have a discussion about this, make sure this is what we want to put forward, which I think it's really close, if not exact, but we should have a discussion on it to make sure, like the NRCC, why is this no? Why can you not reuse these properties in the NRCC when you should be able to by special permit through the planning board? I don't see why not. So that's one in particular. But if we send this forward tonight, later we can't make that change on there. I'll yield. Sorry, could you say?
Councilor McCarthy, please.
I'll defer to Councilor Terry.
Councilor Terry, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just to address this briefly, yeah, the Four Corners issue does come up if we don't list a zone in here. This happened during some of our other discussions last year. This happened during the retail marijuana discussions when there were zones left out. And we can't add a zone after the fact to it without violating the Four Corners. In this particular use table, every zone in the city of Salem is listed with some sort of allowable yes or no or planning board. In the case of this, so we could change one of these from planning board to no or planning board to yes. The reason why these are no in the B1 through 5 and no in the BPD and no in the NRCC is because that reuse to multifamily housing is already permissible in all those zones. The zones that do not allow for multifamily use are the RC, R1, R2, R3, and industrial. So all these other zones that say no don't mean that it's not allowed. It means you don't need to go get any kind of special permit because it's already permissible use. When if and when the project on Lafayette Street, the church there, the old St. Joe's, is finally redeveloped, which I know they went before the Historical Commission to get support for tax credits for that recently. If they are finally go forward with it, they don't need to go through this because they're in B5, which is already a permissible use. So that's the reason why we don't have a Four Corners issue here, because all zones are listed. And in the case of the no's, they don't have to go through this process because it's already a permissible use. So I see no issue with this in going forward. And if we decide we want to adjust this as a body, because the idea of doing this through an overlay zone has been rejected, that can't come back before us this year. So doing it as a use table change is the only legal route for us to bring it back before the city council. So that's the reason why we're at this point. So now, from here, this starts with the public hearing, the joint public hearing, which we now have to schedule, but everything else is completely covered here.
Councilor McCarthy, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll do whatever the body wants. If the body wants to have a meeting first, I will, but I will just state that the good council president, not you, the other one, was sitting in my chair during that meeting, and he sat there and he told us emphatically that he wanted the city planner to get us this information by the deadline of Tuesday at noon, of which he did. Because in his, don't quote me exactly, but I'll paraphrase, we need to get this done, we need to get these buildings done, we need to fast track this to make sure that we can get these things repurposed. And I'm paraphrasing. If by taking an extra 2 weeks, so I can have a committee meeting sometime between now and 2 weeks from now, and then setting a public hearing, I'll do it if that's the will of the body. I don't want this to turn, I chaired that committee. We spent an exorbitant amount of time when we continued the public hearings from the first process. We spent 4 hours here one night going line by line through there in order to try to get to some common ground, which failed, which is fine, that's what happens. But I do not want to go through another process like that. I want to make sure that we're to the point where we're all understand, and if that's going to take it for me to withdraw my motion and refer this to committee, then I would suggest that anyone has any questions prior to this going to a joint public hearing, come prepared with some questions and how you want to amend this thing before we set it out, because in the good words of the council president, we need to get this up and moving. We need to repurpose these buildings. So how that happens, I'll leave it to the will of the body.
You want to come up?
Sure.
Council Fury.
Mr. President, I'm proud to drive a Volvo. I've always known to safety, safety, safety. Housing, housing, housing will be the issue for this election year. I see candidates in public office now, sitting in the chamber now. All of us up, except myself, for public office, will hear the hue and call, clarion call throughout the city of Salem, housing, housing, housing. We heard it at the Council on Aging in 2 public meetings, 2 packed houses, explaining their needs. We need to get this on the roll, the fast track. I want to do it in my lifetime in this city council. Delaying and deferring an issue of housing has a human impact on all of us. It's sending a message to other cities and towns, other people in the city of Salem, to move out of Salem. I want to stay in Salem. Housing, affordable housing needs to be, whether it's Boston or Salem or wherever. We need to put it on the fast track. A public hearing at the planning board. The planning board is a professional board. Planners, designers, professionals. We're part-time city councilors. We can sit down with them. With a city planner that's a certified city planner, that has a license in city planning. We need to work together to come to common ground, to come to yes. Yes, and yes we can. We've gone through 9 months of strong, long, democratic, excruciating, emotional hearings. We don't need to do that. Local government is where the rubber hits the road. We better get going, or some of us in this chamber will not be here in the next election. I know I won't be, sincerely, on my own voluntary means. But some of us here who keep procrastinating, putting their foot to the brake, saying, not now, not now, later, later. They come up with no solutions. They flip-flop on the votes. This is excruciating for all of us. Let's come to a decision. We're elected to make tough decisions. So tonight, I sincerely hope for a public hearing with the planning board. I have full confidence with them and the planning director and us to meet in common ground. This is an election year. Your future is at stake. Housing, housing, housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? Councilor Mallow.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to go on record as saying that my votes don't depend on an election year. They depend on what's best for Salem. So I just want to make it clear that whatever I vote, however I vote, this year, last year, 2 years ago, it's for the good of Salem. It's got nothing to do with election year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? House Sergeant? No, good. Yes or no?
Almost done.
Okay. Again, any further discussion? There, Councilor McCarthy.
I will defer to you, Mr. President. You're the one who requested it go to committee. Would you prefer it go to committee, or would you prefer we ask the city clerk to schedule a joint public hearing?
Well, briefly, Councilor Fury.
I thought you were going to answer the question before you went back up.
Remember, President, Washington's greatest gift was the gift of silence. Thank you. Councilor Lebo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that we could simply add a sentence of wording in here to allow that these zones on this list, through the joint public hearing process, that they can be amended through the process. If we had wording in there, then we could make changes. I disagree with the Ward 5 Council that we can make changes because we couldn't the last 2 times. So we have a choice in my mind's eye. Either we put it into committee so we make these changes, or we go forward tonight with a joint public hearing with adding a simple sentence saying that the joint public hearing will review the municipal or religious reuse zone districts and consider changes. Some simple sentence that will allow us to make changes to this. And we can vote for this tonight. I'll be in favor of it. Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. We can and have made changes to zoning many a times in the joint public hearing process. Coming out of the joint public hearing process, the planning board can recommend changes, which we have the power to accept or refuse, and we then ourselves can make changes to what comes out of that process, either on the floor or in committee at that point. Because there is nothing here that violates the Four Corners premise, we can move right ahead and get this joint public hearing going. And I would recommend that that is what we do. There is no reason whatsoever to send this to committee beforehand.
You got a motion?
Yeah, I just moved the question.
Any further discussion? There being none. On Councilor Terrio's motion, seconded by Councilor Fury, that...
No, it was Council McCarthy.
Yeah, it was Councilor McCarthy.
The original motions.
Original motion.
I just moved it.
Councilor McCarthy, would you like to reframe your motion, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the planning board to hold a joint public hearing.
Thank you for repeating that. On Councilor McCarthy's motion, seconded...
Original motion.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion that a joint public hearing be scheduled with the planning board and city council. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Where to now?
18.
Mayor's informational page.
We have a communication from the mayor to address the city council.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be received and placed on file. The initial intent of this was for the mayor to provide said address at this meeting tonight. I'm told that she received some complaint about the form in which this was being done somehow. Somebody had an objection to that. So because of that, and because this happened to be put under me on the agenda, I will resubmit this as an order for the next meeting. But we haven't had a dispute over whether the mayor could come and address us since 2011, I'll point out, and when there were a couple of members who had objections at the time, and that was one of the things that made that year very interesting. So I move it be received and placed on file, and then with the city clerk, we'll resubmit this as an order for the next meeting, and hopefully go ahead then.
Thank you. So to be clear, I received questions on this as well, an inquiry as to what the mayor was speaking on, and there was no information about that, so I inquired. So going forward, it's the hopes that when the mayor will always be welcome, and everybody is always welcome to speak when I'm president. I welcome public testimony, including the mayor, anytime she wants to speak. But I'm going to be asking her that if she chooses to come and speak, she should list what she would like to speak about, so that the public will know and they can show up if they have an interest in what the topics might be. That being said, on the motion by Councilor Terrio that the matter be received and placed on file, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Page
25.
Thank you. Petitions, further petitions.
We have a petition for the residents of Conan Street to have Conan Street repaved.
Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've never done this before. I'm not sure what I need to read. Madam City Clerk,
What you like to do, refer to government, just what your motion is to refer to a committee or...
Granted and referred.
I move for this to be granted. Oh, sorry. My apologies. I move for this to be referred to Committee on Government Services.
Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I've been receiving several inquiries about repaving on certain streets, and the neighbors on Conan Street specifically, they banded together and put together a petition, and I would like to invite them to the committee meeting, work with the Ward 4 counselor on scheduling this meeting, seeing as he's the chair, and invite the Department of Public Services Director to have a productive discussion on some of the issues that neighbors are seeing on their street. And I look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, on council's motion that the matter be referred to the Committee on Government Services, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have a list of license applications.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that be granted.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? There being none, on Councilor McCarthy's motion that they be granted, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have a communication from Salem Police Special Investigator revoking public guide license.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that be granted.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? There being none, on Council McCarthy's motion that they be granted, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have a hearing request from Thomas Valley regarding his revoked public guide license.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
Nope. My only question would be at that time whether or not we have to go into executive chamber session, but I will ask the city solicitor for her opinion on that, and we'll do that at the start of the meeting.
Any further discussion?
If he chooses.
If he chooses. It's his, I mean, that would be his decision, because usually with a if I may, Mr. President, usually with a taxi operator license, when there's a dispute, usually goes to executive session, because there's usually I don't know what the reasons were entirely behind this decision. This individual may not want those brought up in public. If he has no problem in bringing part of public, we'll do it right here. If he has a problem with whatever the reason, then we can go to the back. But for this purposes, I'll just refer it to committee.
Absolutely. Any further discussion?
Nope.
There being none, on Council McCarthy's motion that the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have the following license applications for seaworms and tag days.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? There being none, on Council McCarthy's recommendation that the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Further petitions.
One claim.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion, Mr.
Any
President.
further discussion? There being none, on Council McCarthy's recommendation that the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Unfinished business, none. Councilor Fury.
Mr. President, motion to adjourn, please.
Motion adjourned. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned.